YouTube, it's your boy FPLK man, and I'm back here with a brand new video. And today I've got for you my game week 27 team review as well as my game week 28 team selection. And we're also going to be covering the madness, the absolute chaos that has happened due to the midweek fixtures such as FA Cup, Europe, Champions League. There's been a lot of red cards and suspension and injuries to key assets highly owned in FPL. So without further ado, let's dive in. So there you have it, another green arrow in game week 27. I had totaled 74 points. My old rank was 521 in the world, and my new rank is 230. Really fortunate to be in the position that I am in. As I said, uncharted territory, never been in this position before. It's a once in a lifetime moment. I got to make the most of it. So let's hope for the best and continue to, climb. And inshallah, we get to rank 1 come the end of the season. So just to start off, double Arsenal defense along with Nico Williams, Forest, triple clean sheet. My goodness, along with bonus points for Nico Williams. He's only 1% on in the top 10k. That is an insane mega differential. So really fortunate to have him and his whole. And then you got double Arsenal clean sheets. As I said, Rare only 11% in the top 10k. That's a big differential as well. So him and Nico Williams, they both gave me a big boost because not many really owned him around my rank. And then you got Gabriel as well. He's 50% on. Not a differential, but still something. And then Trent clean sheet as well. So full house at the back. Really pleased with that. In midfield, you got Salah. There was a big debate between who to captain, whether Salah or Palmer. And obviously, if you went the other way, it was not a big swing. Only, 3 points? But at the end of the day, every point matters in FPL. So Salah cappers, we did win at the end of it. If you did tune into my deadline stream, I did explain why I wanted Salah. And I thought he could have had another return or two, but he was quite passive versus Newcastle. But it is what it is. I'm quite pleased with the one return at least. And then you got Mbimo, 5 points. Really pleased with that. Clivert, 10 points. Those who were with Dango, Semenyo, kind of maybe felt hard done, but I'm quite happy with him getting all 3 bonus. And he's got a beautiful goal as well. And then you got Jared Bowen, my Mr. Differential, who I did transfer in last week. And he did score a goal actually, but they only counted as an assist due to a deflection. I thought we got hard done by that, unfortunately. But still nothing less. I'm quite happy. And then got Palmer with 3-pointer. Those who did captain him, unlucky. But look, there was only one thing going right for Palmer in my opinion, which was the fixture on paper. But his form was quite off. When I was watching him though, I was kind of scared because he did get a couple of big chances, but he just wasn't converting them because he's out of form. And Chelsea are also not clicking. But at the same time, they did score 4 goals. And for him to not be involved at all, I think we got quite lucky. And then last but not least, you got Mateta, my goal. He got injured, unfortunately, in the midweek fixtures, but he did deliver for me in Premier League. My goodness, 8 points. Really, big differential. 21% this week, but I think prior weeks I had him for like 10%, 8%. So he's climbing up there, but now that he's injured, I doubt people will buy him. Look, for the time that I had him, he's delivered for me. Really happy with him. And then Chris Wood did come on for Isak, as last minute we did find out after the deadline that Isak was not part of the squad due to some sort of groin injury. And then Chris Wood did come off the bench for a 2-pointer. Can't complain. Overall 74 points. 230 in the world. My goodness. Ridiculous rank. Let's hope we can continue to climb. And let's move on to game week 28 team selection. So for game week 29, your boy has 1 free transfer. 0.0 in the bank. Unfortunately, I'm not making any transfers this week. Although I do have an injury in Mateta, as I said. We had a great fixture on paper, Ipswich at home. But unfortunately, he is injured. As you guys can see, it's highlighted in red. I'm still quite happy with the returns that he's provided so far, so can't complain too much. So yeah, for game week 29, I'll be saving up a couple of transfers to navigate that blank 29. Potentially maybe look to get your boy Haaland. But again, I'll need a couple of transfers for that. So I'll be rolling this week. So I'm lining up with Raya, Gabriel, Hoyson and Trent at the back. It's a bit of a mixed bag of fixtures if I'm being honest. Raya and Gabriel, obviously, is a decent fixture on paper. Usually when Arsenal United does play, there is a bit of a rivalry. So it can be an intense game and back and forth. Could there be a clean sheet? Potentially, but I doubt it. But still, I'm quite happy to play with them because Gabriel does have an attacking threat. And we do consider a lot of set-piece goals. Similarly with Hoyson, he does have a set-piece threat. There's a bit of a dilemma for Nico Williams to start ahead of Hoyson though. But the way Spurs looked in the Europa, I think, listen, they're horrible. Like, they got injuries, Kulusevski out. I think Romero's out as well, Van der Ben. They may be training, but they're not fully back yet. So, potentially, Hoyson has maybe another bullet header in him. So, I'm quite happy to play him versus Tottenham. And then you got Trent versus Southampton. There's also a doubt around his minutes because of the Champions League they played. I think they played on, obviously, Wednesday. And then I think it's like a 3-day turnaround for Southampton fixture. But still, if he does start, it's great. If he doesn't, I've got Nico Williams coming off the bench. Moving on to the midfield, you got Salah, Palmer, Mbemo, Clivert, and Bowen. The midfield's quite template, if I'm being honest, with the likes of Salah, Palmer, and Mbemo. Clivert and the Bowen maybe not so template because a lot of people want the likes of Dango or Semenyo instead of Clivert. So hopefully those two can bag as a differential. And captaincy, again, a lot of people are probably going to debate whether to go with Palmer or Salah. But I think, come on, like, if the debate was last week, Salah had a tough fixture and people still went with Salah, I think I would go with Salah with Southampton at home. There is obviously people who have concerns about the minutes, but Salah is a minutes monster. I don't think it really does affect him. So he can definitely get 70, 80 minutes, and I think he can do damage by that time. And then up front, you got Wood and Isak. I do have to mention, though, Isak, there's a doubt around him. Apparently, he may be a doubt due to the fact that he picked up a knock in the midweek fixture in the FA Cup. Could he play? Potentially. But as I don't have many options, to be honest. Mateta is injured. So even if he doesn't play, again, Nico Williams as a cover, hopefully he will come in if either of, say, for example, Trent or Isak doesn't play. So I have Nico Williams as a cover. Overall, the team does look good for Game Week 28. In terms of transfers, as I said, I'm rolling and potentially looking to make a big move come Game Week 29, which will involve buying Haaland and downgrading the likes of Trent for a cheapy defender like maybe a Wan-Bissaka or someone like that, and downgrading Mbemo for a Minte or something. We will see come Game Week 29. But for now, this is how we're lining up. Let me know what you guys think. Now let's move on to the best Cunha/Mateta replacement, as well as best Lewis Hall/Gordon replacement. For best Cunha and Mateta replacement, first I got your boy Chris Wood. If you do not have him, I do think he's on paper. He does have a bit of a tough fixture, but still, City, I think he can score. They're quite leaky defensively. Although they signed quite a few good players recently, still they're conceding goals. I think Chris Wood is a really good option. They're playing at home. And then second, my favorite option will be Wissa. He has Villa at home, a leggy Villa. They just play Champions League. When they play midweek, they do struggle and they do tend to concede a lot of goals. And as we just saw last week, Palace scored 4 versus them. So Wissa is a good shout. Marmoush is a bit of a punt, I think, because we're still not sure if he's fully nailed. But if you're looking for long-term, potentially Marmoush. And then recently, hot form, your boy Beto, number 4. And last but not least, Strand Larson. Not the most favourite, but the fixtures are there for Wolves with Everton, Southampton, West Ham, and Ipswich. But without Cunha, how good is that team? I'm not so sure. But it's still the other options. And then for Lewis Hall, I've got Munoz. If you're on free hit 29, absolutely the best option. If not, if you're navigating 29, then you go for Nico Williams, or Milinkovic, depending on how much money you have. And then my third option will be Gabriel/Timber, Arsenal defenders. And fourth will be Guardiola. Fifth will be Kirkus/Hoyson, again, depending on the funds. With Gordon, that's a bit of a tough one because ultimately, if you do sell him, you would want him back for the double in 32. Potentially, if you can bench him, and if you have a bench cover, maybe you don't sell him. However, if you are looking to sell him and if you must, I do think you can potentially invest in Palace boys as they have a really good entry point in Ipswich. That's if you're on free hit 29. So you can buy either Eze or Sar, up to you. However, if you're not on free hit 29, I do think you can potentially invest in the Man City boys, whether you want to go for a Foden or a Savio. Again, the minutes and the nailness, Pep Roulette, it's dangerous. And the safer option will probably be Bowen, if I'm being honest, still. Although West Ham, I don't really like the way they play on the eye test. They don't pass that much. But still, Bowen is a really good option. And last but not least, you can potentially go for Maddison due to the fact that Kulusevski is out for the next month. So he should be nailed, I think so. But if you don't like that, maybe you still go for a Bournemouth mid if you don't have a Clivert. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Now let's move on to the FA Cup draws and see what other teams potentially that could double in game week 33 as well as game week 36. So looking at the FA Cup draws, just to note a couple of things. Fulham versus Palace. If Palace do win versus Fulham, both Arsenal as well as Palace could double in 33, game week 33. As you guys know, Palace already doubled in 32, so they could potentially have double-double. And Mateta is likely to be back by the quarterfinals, which is end of March. So if he's back, I do kind of favor Palace to beat them. As you guys already seen, they beat them in the reverse fixture. And then with Villa versus Preston, I think Villa are heavy favourites and they will definitely probably beat them. And then that would lead to Man City versus Villa doubling in 33. So you can load up on the Villa assets as well as the City assets from now on. But obviously Villa does blank in 29. If you're free hitting in 29, you can still invest in Asensio. As you guys know, he's on pens now. So or probably go for Stu Rogers. However, if you're not free hitting, obviously you can load up on the Bournemouth as well as the Man City boys. And then the next fixture, obviously, you got Bournemouth and City. Again, regardless if City win or lose, I think they still probably double in game week 33 due to the fact that Villa will probably beat Preston. If Bournemouth do beat City, though, however, then Bournemouth and United are almost a lock for game week 33 double due to the fact that United are still in Europa and Bournemouth also will be in a semi-final for the FA Cup. So that will basically lead to that fixture moving to game week 34. On the other hand, if Brighton beat Nottingham Forest, right, then we're going to have a double for Brighton as well as West Ham. So the likes of Bowen, Wan-Bissaka will be really useful. Minte, João Pedro. How could this all play out? We don't exactly know. As I said, it's most likely 50-50 all of these games. So now let's look at the projections for Planet FPL. What are they predicting to be the doubles as well as blanks come game week 33, 34, as well as 36. So when you guys are looking at this, as you guys can see, we do have a blank in 29. That includes Palace, Villa, and Liverpool, as well as Newcastle. And then we have a double in 32 for Newcastle as well as Palace. And then, as I said, if Palace do beat Fulham in the FA Cup quarterfinals, then we're going to have a Palace and Arsenal double in game week 33, which means Palace double-double. So most people will probably have triple Palace come game week 32. And then we have followed up by that, we have blank game week 34, where most people probably will free hit or navigate that depending on what players they have. And then potentially we might have a double for game week 36 as well, predicting that if Spurs do make it further in the Europa, which doesn't look very likely, they did lose the recent tie. And then you also have City and Bournemouth doubling in 36. If that's a double, I think that's much easier to navigate. However, if Spurs, Bournemouth, Villa and City, they're all double come game week 36, they will also blank in 37. So that'll be much more difficult to navigate. So yeah, it's a bit all over the place at the moment. It's really hard to tell what will happen. There's a lot more information we should wait for. I personally think, as I said, don't lock into any chip strategy yet. The best thing to do is to navigate 29 and then make a decision on what to do, whether to walk out 31, bench boost 32 or 33, navigate 34 or whatever. It's very hard to tell at the moment. I'm not locked into any chip strategy. I'm going to wait for more information come game week 30, 31. Wait for those FA Cup results, those Europa results, and then make a better judgment as to what is the best chip strategy. Thank you guys for listening. Make sure to smash the like button and share this video. I'm going to see you guys next week. Peace out.